Hello everybody, it's Nym and welcome back to my channel. Today we are back with our reptile zoo because it is Friday and today we are building a habitat for our Capuchin monkeys. When I started this habitat I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to put in here, so before we get into any of that you will see me fiddling around with the terrain because I wanted to make this walkway that would go lower than the habitat, and you would have this beautiful water feature and then the pathway would slowly go up again. Now, we all know my struggle with the pathing tool. It has not improved. The pathing tool is still very, very annoying, and I can't deal with it. We all know that, but, you know, in the beginning of the reptile zoo I showed you a lot of it, and I haven't showed that in quite a while, so I was like, you know what? Let's show that again, how awful I am with the pathing tool. So right now we're using the sand to lay out the path where I want it to go. Because, you know, if we want to build a water feature, we need to lower that down other parts of the terrain as well. And you can see me here struggling with the actual path and then trying to smoothing out, leveling it on different levels and just hoping it is actually smooth enough so that the pathway can go over there. That did not happen. Like, not at all. So that sucks. So I fixed that by, well, first I was trying to smooth this out and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try it the other way. I'm gonna start at the bottom and then I'm just gonna work my way up, which actually worked a lot better. So you see the other side, it worked out perfectly fine. And then this side, in the end, I just decided to build the stairs. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna build stairs. That's fine, let's do stairs. So we're just gonna smooth it out a little bit more and then we're gonna go up with some stairs. And then we're actually going to connect it on top like this little bridge segway that we have. So obviously that's going to be the different kind of pathway. It's going to be timber. And now we are making our water feature. And I have never ever done a water feature like this. And I knew how to do it because, you know, I figured out water needs to be contained by something. So we are going to place down the glass barrier. After we do the initial barrier, we are going to place down the glass barrier and that should hold the water. I was so hoping for that because if that didn't hold the water, I had no clue how to do it and I had to Google it and it takes a lot of time. So luckily I didn't have to do that. Right now you can see me laying out the foundations of this habitat, and by now I still wasn't sure what animal I should place in here, so it is a little bit big. And that's fine. I was wondering, and staff entrance that way. I decided to put it in the other way just because I want more habitats there and we need to have a staff facility close. So, you know, and here we are starting with our water feature. Now I am extremely proud of this because this is the first time I've done something like this, I think. Oh no, wait, I did it with the other habitat. Oh, I completely forgot about that. That's probably how I know how to do it. Wow, okay. Never mind. And you know, I was just checking if it actually worked, and then we are gonna, I want to say lower, like make it higher. And now it's all very uneven and I want it to be even. So we're all gonna lower it down to 1 meter. So that they're all at 1 meter height so that it actually looks nice. And once we did that, it's time for some waterfalls because I love waterfalls. You guys all know that I love my waterfalls, so they have to be there. And given the fact that you can actually see the underwater surroundings, it needed to look a little bit, you know, underwatery. That's word, I just invented word, I think it's a word now. So here we are placing some of the aquatic pack. I love the aquatic pack, the plants. I'm so in love with it, same with the rock. There are so many different variations that you could build with it. And for now, I kept it relatively simple because, you know, it is a pre-record and I wanted to make a nice habitat, but I didn't need it to be like over the top beautiful and everything just because unfortunately I don't have time for that right now because I have a lot more episodes to voice over, so you know the stuff. So right now I was kind of inspired by Ariel. I was like, you know what, it's all green, let's put some red in there and then some different rocks to make it look nice. And I actually, honest to God, I think it looks really, really nice, especially with the tree trunk in there, or tree branch trunk, I'm not quite sure. It looks really nice in my opinion and I'm actually really proud of it. Especially with the variation of plants that we put in there. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. And then we put like these little plants down there and then some more of these big ones. And I really like it. It really looks like one whole. And after that I was like, well, okay, now I need to figure out what animal to put in there. And I know I didn't want to put seals in there because seals, you know, they don't really live there. And I was like, you know what, we still have the Capuchin monkeys. So we put some Capuchin monkeys in there. And unfortunately, Capuchin monkeys aren't able to swim and they aren't able to use the water. But it does look pretty darn nice, and I'm actually really happy with it and the fact that I did chose for the Capuchin monkeys. Because in the end it is just a really nice habitat for them. Even if they don't use it, we can just imagine that there are like big fish in there that the guest can see, and obviously there's some like amazing animal life underwater with microorganisms and stuff like that. So here we have our Capuchin monkeys in, you know, and now we're just making sure that they can't escape. So we are using stone barriers, which we used throughout the zoo, just to give the zoo a nice cohesive, you know, idea. Just that it looks all the same and all nice together. And it's not just like, oh, well, this is completely different than the habitat next to it. Obviously, there needs to be some differences, but there are some certain things I feel should be the same in a zoo, so you feel like you're actually walking in a zoo, not just a random box of animals, you know, thrown together. And here at the end, we actually use the same fence as we did with the orangutans, which is located next to it. You know, make sure they can't climb it, and we use these as well. You know, just we use them with the pygmy hippos, we use them with the orangutans. We're just gonna make sure that it's kind of similar all the way, and obviously the monkeys can climb them, so we're gonna use some elephant grass to be able to keep the monkeys out and on their own property. And right now we are building a shelter, and this shelter, it is very simple. Like, I'm not gonna lie about it. It's simple, the structure is nice. It has some curves, it has some straight edges. But in the end, it looks really nice, especially in a minute we are going to put some plants on there, and some vines, and some roots. And I really, really love the way that it actually turned out, and I'm quite happy with it. And even though, you know, it looks a little bit simple, I feel like it's still nice. Especially with the supporting beams. I think it is well thought out, and that's coming from me, so, you know. There we are, you know, putting some vines on there. In a minute we are going to put some ivy on there. That will make it look even better, obviously, because ivy, you know, is green, this is brown, and it brings out the best in both colors. In my opinion, again, you know. I'm not here telling you what to do, I'm giving you ideas, hopefully. And hopefully you'll like them. I mean, otherwise you probably wouldn't be watching this video if you didn't like it, or you would be there silently hating on me. Which, you know, if you want to do that, that's fine, I don't really care. But I'd rather you don't, I'd rather, you know, you enjoy the videos. And so right now I want to put some bedding on top of them so that the monkeys will actually go there. And I checked and they weren't actually able to go up there, so we had to build some well, reinforcements, as a matter of fact, you know, some climbable items. And I think they still won't go up there. I don't know why, or maybe it's just not showing, that's a possibility as well. But, you know, we tried, it looks nice, they can climb on the climbing post, obviously. And that's about it. And we also have this bridge going over, connecting one area to the other area. Because Capuchin monkeys aren't able to be together with humans. So we had to figure something else out. And we came up with this, and I actually quite like it. So one of them is going to be this bridge with platforms where they can sit on and walk over. I mean, luckily the monkeys won't actually go off there. I mean, we have a zoo in the Netherlands called Apenhul, which means monkey hull. I'm not sure what hull means in English. And it's basically a giant zoo of monkeys, and the monkeys roam around free. Obviously not the gorillas and the chimpanzees, because they're quite dangerous still. They're still in cages, but it's really nice. And I do believe like Capuchin monkeys actually walk free there. So I'm a bit confused why they don't in Planet Zoo, but whatever. Or maybe I misread it. Maybe they can't be with animals, because I remember in my Safari River Zoo I put them together with the humans. Whoops, oh well. Anyways, once I was 3, my parents took me there, and the monkey actually stole my sandwich. So, you know, I've never been back to that zoo because it's even on picture. At the moment I've packed everything, so I can't show you the picture, but it's on a picture, like I'm sitting there with my sandwich, and then this monkey is on top of the stroller, and it stole my sandwich. Scarred for life. Let me just tell you that. Anyways, so right now we are making sure that the monkeys can't escape because, you know, we're placing the barriers, they can escape more because they have more traversable area. And right now we are making sure that the waterfall looks nice because, you know, we had the underwater feature of the waterfall, but the top of the waterfall still looked a little bit meh. So we're gonna place some more rocks there, and I actually feel that it looks really nice. And I did decide, you know, putting some more of these trees because I love these trees. And then we are gonna place some traversable area for their climbing ways. And I initially went with this giant log that you see me placing there, but unfortunately the monkeys weren't able to climb on that or walk on that, which is very, very strange in my opinion. Because I feel like it's a log, they should be able to walk on there, but according to the game they don't. They were able to use the ropes though, so you know, there's something, I guess. Yeah, you can see me checking it here, like, oh, can they walk on there? No, it doesn't even lit up green, so that's very weird. So I had to remove these logs and replace them with these other tinier logs, which are actually in the climbable area. But I felt like it's still weird because the chimpanzees were able, or like the gorillas were able to use it, and the orangutans as well. And the capuchins aren't. Also, I don't know if you can hear the birds in front of my window, but they have like a baby bird and it's making a lot of noise, so I'm sorry if you can hear that, but it's really cute. And it's actually quite warm right now, so I'm recording with my window open. Maybe I shouldn't have. So here we are building this walkway climbable path for them over the water in so they have like some more ways to connect all the areas, because at the moment we only have 2 ways. We have this one and the other one which we just saw, and now we are just building some more. We are building nice climbing structures so that the water, you know, it isn't being used, but they are like going very closely over it. So, you know, if this would be in an actual zoo, there would obviously be fish or something in the water, and it would give a really nice idea and a nice view. Now that's what we're going for. So there we are, you know, placing some climbable logs or planks. I believe they're logs. Yeah, they're logs. And just making sure that the monkeys have a nice traversable area everywhere, because obviously they're capuchin monkeys, so they need to be able to climb. And although we've already, you know, succeeded in their climbing needs, I always feel like it's a little bit weird to just have very little climbing for them, especially since they're climbing monkeys. So I just want to give them like a lot of climbing. And I feel like this way actually it works really nice because it looks nice. They have like these ropes where they can go over, and they actually use it. That's like one of my biggest pros, or like, yeah, pro points. I feel like you would say that, I'm not quite sure. That they actually use the ropes. Because lots of time, I can't tell you how many times I have placed ropes in a monkey habitat and they refuse to use it. They just use the logs, and I'm just like, well, I put ropes there for a reason. In nature you use that, so why not now? We've also placed down these vines. Now in theory, the monkeys are able to climb on that. It is traversable area. I haven't seen any monkeys doing that, so who knows, but they're quite busy with climbing on other things, so. I also checked out what the guests thought of it. This is like the most frustrating thing that a guest can say, in my opinion. There was this guest, he was like, oh well, this capuchin monkey habitat looks really nice. And then it continued. I can really see they put a medium amount of thought in the habitat. I'm like, excuse me, a medium amount of thought? I've put so much thought in there. Also, I'm very sorry if you can hear my Discord right now. Let me just... There. Let's hope it doesn't actually go off more times. Let me just mute this channel for a moment because... yeah. Anyways, what was I talking about? Yeah, the medium amount of thought. That annoys me so much. I'm like, excuse me, I put a lot of thought in these habitats. Maybe not the habitat of the Malayan tapir, but whatever, you know. That had less thought in it. Anyways, I'm like just mildly infuriated by that, and is that just me? Or does it annoy other people as well? Because, you know, you can't just go in my zoo and say like, oh, the scenery is amazing, the zoo is awesome. You have put a medium amount of thought in the habitat. I'm like, excuse you. You wouldn't go to a real zoo and say that. At least I wouldn't. I wouldn't dare to. What I do like when zoos finally reopen again, What I am gonna say is like, I did that before as well. I walked in a zoo and I was like, oh yeah, well in my zoo we have it like that. And then you see all these people like, oh, she owns a zoo. And I'm like, yes, I own a zoo. A very big zoo, and it is very successful. I have so many guests in here that sometimes it lacks. I have put a max on the guest, by the way, because it went crazy. At the moment, I believe there are 34 in. And when I finished building and press it on play, it shot up to like 8,000. So I'll put a max of 3,000 guests in the zoo right now. I believe that's a reasonable amount, you know, to not crash my computer or any other computers. But I have to say, when this zoo actually finish, I am going to empty the entire zoo of guests just to be sure, because I don't, or like lower it to 500, because I don't want you guys to load the zoo and then, you know, have your computer be broken because of my zoo. That actually would very much suck. I mean, can you imagine you opening a zoo file and then your computer crashes because there were too many guests in the zoo? Yeah. I already had that once. One of my first zoos got sorted by Pulsley, and he opened the zoo and it was so laggy because there were almost like 12,000 guests in there and like 900 animals. So that's the thing I'm also gonna do. I'm gonna purge the zoo of excess animals just for you guys, you know, because there are so many animals. I believe at the moment there are like 700 animals in here, which is insane. It really is insane. We're not gonna have so much animals in there once it's uploaded. Trust me on that. Especially there are a lot of exhibit animals. I always lose track of them, but they breed so darn fast. Like, it's insane. Like, really insane. Alright, now we are nicing up the zoo a little bit more because the rocks were kind of bare. So we're gonna sink in these trees in there to make it look like bigger bushes and make it actually look really nice. And I'm actually quite happy with it and the way that it looks. And have you seen, by the way, the difference of terrain paint? Because we have used terrain paint on the other side already, and not just on this side. This side looks very green right now. And I used to leave it always like this because I actually love the green, and I still do. But I feel like for it to be realistic, it needs terrain paint, and it needs some mossy areas, but also some muddy and some with rock and some with sand. You know, a mixture of all of them, and I actually feel like it works quite nice. And you must be wondering, Nym, how much can you build in this reptile zoo? Well, we still have a good portion to go. I believe we have filled up about 60% of the map, so we still have 40% to go and a monorail ride. So there is still more to come. Don't you worry about that. I do believe, guys, we are almost near the end. If I look at the timestamp, yeah, 18 minutes out of 20, yeah, close to the end. So I want to thank you guys if you are still watching this. Hopefully you are enjoying it, which I'm guessing you are because you are still watching this. And if you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, please go do that. You know, it gives you updates when I upload, and it gives me a chance to go higher in the YouTube algorithm and get more views. You know, we both get something. That's just really nice. So guys, I will leave you with the cinematics in a moment, and don't forget to like, comment, and possibly subscribe to my channel if you want to. And I will see you on the next video. Bye guys.